be self-serving, for the returning officer to downplay communication on the WhatsApp group that he had created for the candidates. True, the petitioner should have filed a formal complaint, but this was a day to the contest, and the returning officer conceded it was hectic. He instead led the petitioner on a goose chase to the police. To be fair to Mr. Ressa, he instructed civic educators in Tuni and Labuyo to look into the matter. He said their answer was negative. In a synopsis, the returning officer was playing impotent despite his extensive powers under the Act that I mentioned earlier in this judgment. It follows then that my answer to issue number 1 that I framed at the beginning is in the negative. The second respondent did not conduct the election for Nandi Hills constituency in accordance with the Constitution, the Elections Act, and regulations. It must also follow as a corollary that issue number 3 is also answered in the negative. The first respondent engaged in unlawful campaigns which tainted the fairness and integrity of the poll. Granted those circumstances, I find that the first respondent was not validly elected as the member of the National Assembly for Nandi Hills constituency. Issue number 3 is thus answered in the negative. My answer to issue number 4 is in the affirmative. The petitioner has partially proved his case to the required standard of proof. The petitioner has sufficiently challenged the integrity of the poll. The fitting remedy is to nullify the poll and to grant the people of Nandi Hills constituency a fresh opportunity to elect their representative to the National Assembly. I thus make the following final orders. A, that a declaration is hereby issued that the election held on the 8th of August 2017 for the member of National Assembly for Nandi Hills constituency was not free and fair. B, that the first respondent, Alfred Keter, was not validly elected as the member of the National Assembly for Nandi Hills constituency. 3, that the IEBC shall hold a fresh election for the member of National Assembly for Nandi Hills constituency in accordance with the Constitution, the Elections Act, and the regulations thereunder. That leaves issue number 4 on costs. Costs ordinarily follow the event. They are also at the discretion of the court. Section 84 of the Act provides that an election court shall award the cost of and incidental to a petition, and such costs shall follow the costs. Rule 30, Subrule 1, B of the Elections, Parliamentary and County Elections Petition Rules empowers the court to set the maximum costs payable. If the court does not do so, then the registrar of this court is required by Rule 31 to tax such costs. I grant the current petitioner costs. The original petitioner is not entitled to any costs. Those costs shall be met in equal shares by the first and second respondents. The evidence in this petition was straightforward. The litigation did not raise complex questions of law. The evidence of the 5 witnesses was taken in 3 consecutive days. The maximum costs shall thus be Kenya shillings 1 million only. The Deputy Registrar of these costs shall tax the bill of costs under Rule 31. Lastly, the security deposit of Kenya shillings 500,000 paid into court shall be refunded to the current petitioner, subject to deduction of any unpaid court fees. A certificate of determination of this petition, required by dint of Section 86 of the Elections Act, shall now issue forthwith. That is the judgment of the court. Yes. I'll adjourn for the proceedings for just 1 minute. Anyone who wants to leave the court, do so now.
All right, still trying to make out or get more details about exactly what's transpired in that court. But in a nutshell, Justice George Kimondo has nullified the election of Nandi Hills Member of Parliament Alfred Keter. He has spoken on grounds of election not being well conducted by the IEBC. One of the prayers before that court was that brought by the petitioner who vied on an independent ticket, that's Bernard Kitur, that Keter engaged in unlawful campaigns even when the campaign period had elapsed. And again, the judge said that there was proof showing that this actually happened. And this thus being part of the reason why the judge said that he sees no other reason but to nullify this election and give the people of Nandi Hills a chance to select a leader, whether it will be Keter again or somebody else, or Bernard Kitur, who actually finished second behind Keter in the August 8th poll. Keter had 28,923 votes in that election, while Bernard Kitur finished second with 13,872 votes. And interestingly, the voter who first filed this petition against Alfred Keter pulled out, and then Bernard Kitur, the independent candidate, then came in and took over. And it seems that he will have the last laugh, at least at this moment, because Justice George Kimondo has ruled that the election of Alfred Keter has been cancelled, has been nullified, and it's back to the ballot for residents of Nandi Hills. We are trying to get you some pictures now. We showed you just before we had a challenge with our image there. We're having a challenge getting some of those shots. We showed you pictures of the Nandi Hills Member of Parliament, crestfallen, very sad, of course, and you can expect that sort of reaction with the news that he's had. He's accompanied by his wife and legislators who have also joined him there in solidarity. We are trying to get you some of those pictures now, not just from inside the courtroom, but even outside, where all activity has moved. He was flanked by Johanna Ngeno, a Murwa Dikir Member of Parliament, and Silas Tiren, Member of Parliament for Moiben, and of course his wife as well. And so it's a heavy moment for Alfred Keter. Remember, this same Honorable Alfred Keter is out on bond in a case where he's charged with 11 counts of forgery and conspiracy to defraud the Central Bank of Kenya of treasury bills worth 633 million Kenya shillings. Truly, yeah, let's put up some of those images now, showing you what's happening just outside that Eldoret High Court at this moment. You can see the sort of attention that this particular case has raised, and not quite sure who these people are supporting. They don't look like they're celebrating, so it might be that they are supporters of the Nandi Hills MP. Again, I can't quite tell. Hopefully our correspondent John Wanyama will tell us a bit later on. And of course, we all want to know what Honorable Keter will do. Will he appeal, or will he allow the IBC to begin preparing for a by-election or another election? That is what we will wait to hear. But nevertheless, must be celebration for the camp of Bernard Kitur, an independent candidate for that same seat who lost to Honorable Alfred Keter during the August 8th poll. And so that is what we're trying to show. And of course, I was also mentioning to you earlier that Alfred Keter is out on bond in a case where he's charged with 11 counts of forgery and conspiracy to defraud the Central Bank of Kenya of treasury bills worth 633 million Kenya shillings. 2018 has been a rather tough year for the legislator. First of all, you know that he was dethroned from a parliamentary committee for seemingly going against the wishes of the Jubilee party leadership. That was the first, one of the first matters that brought him to the headlines once again in 2018. Thereafter, he was arrested, charged, and now out on bond in a case where he's charged with 11 counts of forgery. And now this, to have a judge of the High Court nullify his election, potentially sending him back to the ballot, that is if he does not appeal and maybe win the appeal, then, well, 2018 truly has not been Honorable Keter's year. Our camera crew, they're just trying to bring you shots a little bit. Let's just listen in to get a feeling of the mood there now in Eldoret.
Wakaaji wa Eldoret na wageni wote kutoka kule Nandi Hills Chamgei, amjambo. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Shetani ashindwe. Asante sana. Asante sana. Asante sana. Yeah? Omune. Kina maja somo kagenge hii. Oyenge miuke tebi ingamani. Nataka niwaombe kwa unyenyekevu mutulie. Mwenyezi Mungu aliye juu mbinguni anatupenda sisi zote. Nataka mutulie. The Bible is as correct as it is. It is said that it is only the truth that is going to set us free. Sisi tumetoka mengi, tumeangalia mengi. Mimi sisistuka hata kushangaa hata kidogo, kwa sababu nilitarajia kulingana na yale mengi ambayo inaendelea. Mheshimiwa Keter, najua kwa sababu unapigwa vita kubwa sana kushinda hata vile mnaelewa. Mimi vita vyangu imeanza kitambo, kwa sababu mimi napigana na mambo ya ufisadi. Najua wale ambao wanataka kunyakua kule Nandi Hills, wanataka kuchukua chai ya wakaaji wa Nandi Hills. Wamepanga, kuna mipango kubwa sana. Lakini Mwenyezi Mungu aliye juu mbinguni anatupenda sisi zote. Mimi najua wakaaji wa hapa Eldoret mumejumuika na sisi. Hatukutoa mtu yote kutoka kule Nandi Hills wakuje siku ya leo. Tulitaka kesi kotini iamue, na imeamua jinsi ambavyo imeamua. Yale ambayo tutaongea baadaye, tutaongea na mawakili na tutaelewana vile tutafanya. Lakini cha muhimu sasa hivi nataka niwaeleze wananchi wote wa Kenya, Mheshimiwa Keter anapigwa vita kwa sababu ya kupiga vita ufisadi Kenya mzima. Nataka niwaeleze. Niseme ama nisiseme? Nitoboe ama nisitoboe? Juzi mimi na Tiren tulisimama tiketi vya ubunge. Mimi nikashinda kuwa chairman na Boen Kangogo ambao jana kesi yake waliamua. Juzi tulisimama wanaume waine kule bungeni. Ngoje nisikize kidogo, mtulie. Tukasimama wanaume waine, mimi na Mheshimiwa Kangogo Boen na Mheshimiwa kutoka kule Nairobi Kakuya, tukasimama. Mimi nikashinda kuwa mwenyekiti ya Labor and Social Welfare. Mheshimiwa Tiren akashinda kuwa wa kilimo. Mheshimiwa Kangogo Boen akakuwa vice chairman ya environment. Mheshimiwa Kakuya akakuwa chairman wa library and broadcasting. Sisi kuanzia siku hiyo kuna watu hawakulala makatesi. Mimi vita yangu niliuliza swali 3. Kuna mambo mengi kule bungeni tunatengeneza kila wakati, tunatengeneza pesa ya kupeleka kwa wananchi. Mimi nikiwa leba najua zile pesa ambao tunaweka leba kila mwaka. Kuna pesa ambao zinakuja ni ya wazee, wale wakongwe, kina mama na kina baba ambao wako zaidi ya miaka 60. Tunapanga kila wakati. Lakini sinaborwa pesa za watu wa people with disabilities, wale walemavu. Tunapanga pesa kila wakati, lakini watu wachache wanabora pesa hizo. Ukikuja mambo ya IDPs, wale original IDPs hawajailipwa, wanalipa watu ambao si IDPs. Mheshimiwa Tirena akasimama kuwa chairman ya kilimo. Tunajua zile fake fertilizer tunaletewa kwa bei mbaya. Kuna mahindi inatolewa kule ng'ambo at the expense of the farmers. Na Mheshimiwa Tirena mnamjua, yeye ni mkulima na anasimama na wakulima. Juzi bungeni tumeangalia majabu. Hatukuelewa ni kwa nini walikuwa natoa Tirena. Tulikuwa tunaelewa kwa sababu ya fertilizer na importation of maize na vitu mingi, mpaka wale wa kusajimiwa kule Mumias na Chemeli na Moroni tungewapiga vita kwa sababu sisi hatutaki ufisadi. Lakini Mheshimiwa Tirena, hatukukaa hata mwezi moja bunge tukaletewa ile ambayo inaitwa budget. Kilimo imekatwa pesa zaidi ya bilioni 10 billion kutoka kwa last year mpaka sasa. Tunasikia serikali kuu inapanga kuleta bilioni 2 ya dola, $200 billion Kenya shillings. Hizo pesa singekuja kutumika kwa kilimo, kwa sababu tukiwacha wakulima wa kukuza mimea, wa kukuza mifugo, tutaangamia na njaa. Lakini wakakata budget na bilioni 10. Tago amuwa Nandi ogany atare Nandi to makongala sa material ninyo ogaze ile ne bagi mu material ni gigibung menja.
All right, you can see very weighty political declarations being made there by Nandi Hills Member of Parliament Alfred Keter. If you just came in, you'd almost think that that his election was upheld, but it was actually nullified by that court there in Eldoret. An independent candidate, Alfred Keter, who was the petitioner in this matter, is the one who ideally should be celebrating. But what we can see from Keter is that he's saying he's rather defiant. He's not afraid to take on whoever he believes the powers may be, and he's not cowed. I guess an indication that he could either appeal or decide that he's going to go back to the ballot and ask the people for their votes again for the seat of MP of Nandi Hills. But definitely a blow for him, even as the High Court upholds or agrees with the petition brought by Alfred Keter and nullifies his election. And he is now addressing residents, basically his supporters, and of course I'm sure curious residents of Eldoret, or curious people around Eldoret who possibly were around there and are now listening to what he has to say. Let's see if we're able to get a little bit more of his statement. If not, we can briefly carry on with the interview. Okay. I think we'll take a break from that for now. Let me just briefly try and get a summary of this report that we're talking about. Let me just bring you back to where we were in this before we took you to Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County. We're talking about the gap between the rich and the poor. This has come out quite strongly in a report that was released by Twaweza, a citizen-centered initiative focusing on large-scale change in East Africa. In the interest of time, I can't take you through all the questions, but in a nutshell, you say that 80% of Kenyans are dissatisfied with the way Kenya's economy